not doing my best today. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I thought it would be nice to just talk to you this morning. And while I'm in a state, but I'm doing okay right now. So I figured we would just do this, you know? And I have my chair behind me because I just really wanted to sit on the ground for some reason. So we will give everyone a minute or two because I literally just announced the time change. And yeah, I just have to do things when I'm feeling inspired. And I think I have about definitely a good like 20 books or so to show you guys. And as you're joining, say hey in the chat. I'm gonna try to make sure I'm seeing all of the messages because sometimes it's hard when I use my phone. But I wanted to share this haul with you guys because it is like a really random mix of genres and books, and some things that like I don't typically read. Like I have some romance books in here, some sci-fi. Like typically I read just very like uh thrillers and stuff like that. I'm very into like domestic thrillers and suspense and also like literary fiction a lot of the times. But I've been watching some different YouTubers and getting their recommendations on books that they like, and they like different genres than I do, which I just like listening to people talk about what they like. And so that I don't usually watch people that have the same taste as I do, which I think is always really fun. But yeah, I wanted to do this earlier in the day because as you can see, I am not in my normal state, and I have this like heating pack thing. I should have heated it up a little more before I sat down, but yeah, I fell down the stairs last night and I like slipped and like slid down the rest of the stairs. And it was literally right before I went to bed. So I was just like, I have to go to bed, you know? And then when I woke up this morning, I was just so achy, and thankfully I don't feel like super injured or anything, but I just feel like I can't do much of anything today. So I took the day off and I'm glad I did that, but I'm in pretty pathetic shape today. So thought I would do this while I'm feeling pretty good because I don't know how I'll feel throughout the day. So I wanted to move this up. But if you're excited about seeing the book haul and not hearing me complain about my ailments, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and let's dive on into it. So I have them in no particular order. Literally, they're just stacked up how I like received them. So I bought, and a lot of these are from thrift books, and I will update the description box. I forgot to do that. But thrift books is such a great website, and it's an app that you can get books, like used books, at a really great price. And books are expensive, especially if you like to read a lot, and if you just like to read, like try a bunch of different books, it can really add up. So thrift books is great, especially if they're older books. You can find them for usually less than $5. So anyway, I got The Martian by Andy Weir, and I love this movie with Matt Damon. And I never really thought about reading the book that it's based on, but one of my new favorite YouTubers is Erin from Booked and Busy, and she primarily reads sci-fi and fantasy. And this was one of like the more like scientific, like it's not super sci-fi, but I guess it is because like he is an astronaut and he gets like left on Mars and he has to survive by himself. And the movie is absolutely incredible. So I'm excited to read this book version that I was based on. And I got this for only a few dollars on thrift books. So I can't wait to dig into that. This book is definitely a typical type of book that I like. This is Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. And basically it's like a suspense thriller. So it says Marin had the perfect life. Married to her college sweetheart, she owns a chain of upscale hair salons, and Derek runs his own company. They're admired by their community and are a loving family until their world falls apart the day their son Sebastian is taken. And so it's just like about that incident and then the future of what happens with the wife Marin and a secret of their family, I guess. And this is one of those books that's like, it has really small font and it's like that small, like, I think it's called like mass paperback version. I love this like format of a book because you can just like really get into it, like hold it really well. I don't know how to describe it, but Riley Sager is quoted on the front saying, unflinching and unforgettable, everything you want in a thriller. And I love Riley Sager, so can't wait to get into that. This is another book that I must have discovered just from like looking up different genres, and this is called Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. And this is the first one in a series. I think the second one just came out. So this is, it says, it's a mesmerizing adult debut from Lee Bardugo, a tale of power, privilege, dark magic, and murder set among the Ivy League elite. So it is more like that fantasy aspect with like dark magic, and it's also like a mystery trying to be solved of these, like, what's going on in this town or this Ivy League school. So this just seemed really, I don't know, kind of like a thriller, but also with that fantasy element. So I'm excited to read this, and if I really like it, it is part of a series, so I will see how that goes. Totally switching genres. This is Memphis by Tara M. Let's see, Stringfellow. The sticker from Target is over this. This is a pretty recent release, and it has on here Read with Jenna, so it's part of Jenna Hager-Bush's book club. And so this is a debut novel of a Black author, and it says a spellbinding debut tracing 3 generations of a Southern Black family and one daughter's discovery that she has the power to change their legacy. So I just heard really good things about this, and the cover really like drew me in. It's a really beautiful cover, and it like goes throughout time of this family, which I think is one of my favorite like formats of a book, and especially like following like one person, or like in this case it's like the daughter of this family, and so I'm excited to read that. And that's like more of a typical book that I would have picked out without like outside, I guess, like just hearing recommendations. That's one that I probably would have picked up anyway. This is a book or an author that I've been really intrigued by, Eric Larson, and he writes nonfiction in a way that feels like fiction. That's what I've always heard about his books. And so this is one of his older books, The Devil in the White City: Murder, Magic, and Madness at the Fair That Changed America. And so this is nonfiction, but people just like devour his books because he writes it in such like a dynamic and just captivating way. The book I really want to get from him is his newest book about Winston Churchill, but that one is still pretty expensive, even like secondhand. So I picked this one up from thrift books. I think it was less than $10, and I just am excited to see how I like this author because I've been interested in trying his books, but I'm not typically a nonfiction reader. So this seems like up my alley because people say it reads like a fiction book. So I'm really excited to read about the 1893 World's Fair. And yeah, it says nail biting, meticulous research with nail biting storytelling. Eric Larson has crafted a narrative with all the wonder of newly discovered history and the thrills of the best fiction. So I can't wait to report back on how I like that. This book, I don't know how I came across this. I think I was searching like new arrivals on Target, but this is called A Novel Obsession by Caitlin Barash. I'm sorry if I'm saying these names wrong, but the like premise really, really intrigued me. So basically, the main character is like writing her first novel, and she decides to write a story based on her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend or something. And she becomes like a stalker of this girl and is just so obsessed. And so that's why it's called like a novel obsession. Like she is obsessed with this girl that she's writing a novel about, but it's supposed to be fictional, but it's like she's basically just writing what she's seeing in real life. And I believe this is a debut novel. Oh no. I don't know, actually. Yeah, it says her work has appeared in more than a dozen publications. So I don't know if she's written like articles or what, but this book just seems very up my alley. I love like creepy shit like that. And I just love this cover too. Definitely caught my eye. Another nonfiction book that I've wanted to read for a long time is Educated by Tara Westover. And this is like, I feel like so popular, and pretty much anyone has, like everyone has seen this cover. I feel like this is such a memorable and just, I've seen this cover for so long. So I finally picked this up again from Thrift Books because it's an older book, so you can get it for really inexpensive. And essentially this is a nonfiction of someone, like this woman, Tara Westover. She was like homeschooled or something, and I really don't know too much about it. I don't want to know too much about it because I want to go into it with like an open mind and not have like predetermined feelings about it. But I've heard this book, and Daleen just said it, this book is wild, and I've just heard that it's very polarizing, and that's very interesting to me. So I picked that up. Okay, now I have a few thrillers that I've seen or have been recommended, and this is The Other Woman by Sandy Jones, I believe. Again, the sticker is covering it. And so, I mean, the title tells it all. The Other Woman. It's most likely about a mistress and the current wife and all of that drama, but let's see what the back of it says. It says, Adam adores Emily. Emily thinks Adam's perfect, the man she thought she'd never meet. Lurking in the shadows is a rival, a woman who shares a deep bond with the man she loves. Emily chose Adam, but she didn't choose his mother. Ooh! There's nothing a mother wouldn't do for her son, and now Emily is about to find out just how far Pammy, his mom, will go to get what she wants. Emily gone forever. Oh my God. So it's a psychological thriller about a man and his new girlfriend and the mother who will never let him go. I don't think I've read a thriller where the mom is kind of like the crazy one. So, ooh, that is gonna be good, let me tell you. Okay, this book, came so highly recommended to me by one of my friends, and this is called The Chain, and this has scared me so much. Like, I have not wanted to pick it up, but I got it from Thrift Books because I was like, if you hate it, at least it was only a few dollars. So this premise is absolutely wild. It says, you just dropped off your child at the bus stop. A panicked stranger calls your phone. Your child has been kidnapped. The stranger then explains that their child has also been kidnapped by a completely different stranger. The only way to get your child back is to kidnap another child. You are now part of the chain. Is that not terrifying? Like, OMG. At some point it won Best Novel of the Year from the International Thriller Writers Awards. Stephen King has a quote on it that says, this nightmare story is incredibly propulsive and original. You won't shake it for a long time. So I'm super scared about this, but I'm sure it's going to be really, really interesting. And like I said, it came highly recommended. So I am excited to read that. Hey, Alyssa, thanks so much for joining. We are about halfway through my stack. I still have quite a few. Okay, so this book I picked up after I watched Brenda's book haul, and I need to update the description box after I do this video, so I will link her channel down below. But she recently hauled Good Company by Cynthia Diaprix Sweeney, and this is also in the Read with Jenna book club. And I decided to get this author's other book that I think is her most famous one, The Nest. So these are more like domestic dramas, and I really love that genre. So this says a warm, for Good Company, it says a warm, incisive, I don't even know what that means. If you guys know what that means, tell me. Warm, incisive new novel about the enduring bonds of marriage and friendship. So yeah, basically that doesn't tell me too much about it, but it seems like it's about like two women and like the reality of their marriage. And oh yeah, there was like something with the main character's husband claiming he lost his wedding ring like years ago, but then she stumbles upon an envelope with his wedding ring in it, and she's like, what's the deal with that? So it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite books, which is The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty. And so I'm excited to read that. And then The Nest is her debut novel. And again, it's like about a dysfunctional family and like drama within the family and stuff. And I just love that kind of thing. So I picked both of those up. This book might be the one I'm most excited about out of everything. And it's just so different from anything else that I read. So this is called The Activist, Portraits of Courage by K.K. Otson. So basically this book is interviews with, I think, like 40 different people, and they're all like listed on the front here, that have been activists in some way. So it says, activism begins in small ways and in unexpected places. In this inspiring book, over 40 activists recount the experiences that sparked their journeys and share their beliefs, the beliefs that keep them going. These are ordinary citizens who met challenge with action. Their visions for peace, equality, and justice have reshaped American society, from voting to reproductive rights and from the environment to the economy. So you can see some of the faces on the cover, and to be honest, Snowden is what really drew me into this, and I think that's the main like interview that people are interested in, because his is the very last one. But there are just so many interviews in here, and I'm sure it'll be like very, very inspiring and just like eye-opening as well, to hear like what like convince people to take action, and that is something that's very important to me, and I always want to like act upon my beliefs and try to make the world a better place. So I thought that this book was just really up my alley, and I'm super excited to read that. Okay, very much later books in this stack, I think. So I have never read that's not true. I've read one Colleen Hoover book, which was Verity, and I feel like that book is just kind of an outlier in her typical books that she writes, because it was definitely a romance, but it was like a thriller suspense mixed with like romance in a sense. But the majority of her books are just like straight like love stories and romance. So I picked up, I think, 2 of her books. Maybe I just have this one, and oh yeah, I didn't pick up that other one. But anyway, I got Reminders of Him, and this one really intrigued me because it has an element of like the justice system. So basically it says, a young mother fights to earn a place in her child's life, but is there room for her? After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter. But the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out, no matter how hard she works to prove herself. So I just thought that was such an interesting concept. And I know that there is going to be like a love story and romance involved in this, but that whole premise just really drew me in. The book that I also thought I bought, but I guess I didn't, was It Ends With Us. That's like her most popular one. But for some reason I didn't get that, and I thought I did. But I picked this one up. I'm really excited to read it, and this is going to be like a different genre than I typically read. Oh, Alyssa said, I wish I was a faster reader. It takes me so long to finish one book. I live vicariously through your reading reviews. Oh, I don't know like when I started reading so fast, because I literally didn't read for years, and then all of a sudden I became obsessed, and now like I can't stop. So I know that doesn't help, but I'm glad you like hearing the books that I read. Oh, this one I think is going to be like a really nice quick read. This is Beach Read by Emily Henry, and so this is like a romance with kind of like, there's all these like terms that people use about like romance books. They're like enemies to lovers and like different stuff like that. And I think this is Enemies to Lovers. It says, Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she writes a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. Oh, what? When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that the next 3 months they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Yeah, so I think that it's like enemies to lovers or something. So I don't know. We'll see. And there's another, I know Emily Henry is coming out with another book this year, or like any day now. It's called like Book Lovers or something like that. And she has another book that I didn't pick up, but this is the one I always see from her, so I thought I would try that one out. This one just intrigues me so much. This is what kind of got me sort of thinking more about like romance books. So this is called The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary, and I love this color. It looks like it was drawn in colored pencil, or like no, actually when I'm looking at it, it's more like watercolor, and the title and author's name almost looks like it was handwritten in pencil. So really just cool cover. So basically, this is a story about a guy and a girl who share an apartment, but it's like one of them sleeps during the day and one of them sleeps during the night, so they never cross paths. Like one of them works night shifts, one of them works day shifts. And so then they start to realize, like, I've never even seen my roommate. Like, how weird is that? And they start writing little notes to each other that, so then they like start to create this like bond and relationship through these little notes they leave for each other in their apartment. And then what will ensue after that, because they live together or share a house, but they don't ever see each other, yet they're kind of falling in love. So I just thought that was such an interesting concept. And yeah, and it's from both perspectives of the guy and the girl, which I love that. I love multiple POV, and I just think that one's gonna be really good. Okay, this one I kept getting ads for on Instagram, and it was just so different from anything that I usually read that I thought I would get it. So this is Counting Down with You by Tashi. Oh my gosh, I'm so gonna mess up this last name. Tashi Bouillon is how I would say it. So it says, how do you make 1 month last a lifetime? And I think this is more like a young adult book. So this girl starts tutoring like the school's bad boy, which you can kind of see. He looks just so bad with his like leather jacket on. And so this is like a fake dating book, I think. Like they're pretending to be together or something. It says, Karina Ahmed has a plan. Keep her head down, get through high school without a fuss, and follow her parents' rules, even if it means sacrificing her dreams. When her parents go abroad to Bangladesh for 4 weeks, Karina expects some peace and quiet. Instead, one simple lie unravels everything. Karina is my girlfriend. Tutoring the school's resident bad boy was already crossing a line. Pretending to date him, out of the question. But Ace Clyde does everything right. He brings her coffee in the mornings, impresses her friends without trying, and promises to buy her a dozen books a week if she goes along with his fake dating facade. Though Karina agrees, she can't help but start counting down the days until her parents come back. T-minus 28 days until everything returns to normal. But what if Karina no longer wants it to? That is so good. And yeah, I just thought that that sounded really interesting. I've never read like a fake dating book, but that sounds really just like juicy and good. Okay, I bought these 2 books as like a set together. So I really wanted to get The Chosen and the Beautiful by Ning. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Ingvo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So I really wanted to get this book, but I read in the reviews that it's like a retelling of The Great Gatsby, which I've wanted to reread. I only read it in high school, and it was the only book that I read in high school that I liked, like that I was forced to read. And so I just kind of have been wanting to get The Great Gatsby again, and like just to see if I was like, I don't know, if my opinion has changed on it. So I picked this one up, so I'll read this first, and then I'm going to read The Chosen and the Beautiful. And this is told by a different like main character, and it's based more on like the characters, like one of the characters being queer and Asian. And so it's definitely has a different spin to it, which I think will be really interesting. And there is like magic involved. So it's kind of like a fantasy, kind of like Great Gatsby retelling. So I bought these 2 to read like back to back. This one, I have no idea how I stumbled upon this, but I was looking up like highly regarded books, and I found this, and it's called The Long and Far Away Gone by Lou Burney. And it's basically like a, yeah, unsolved crimes in this town. and kind of like the town going back in time and trying to like cope with these things. So that doesn't really explain it very well, does it? It's such a long explanation on the back, but it says, as Wyatt's case becomes more complicated and dangerous, and Juliana seeks answers from a ghost, their obsessive quests not only stir memories of youth and first love, but also begin to illuminate dark secrets of the past. Even if they find the truth, will it help them understand what happened and why they were left behind that long and far away gone summer? Will it set them free or ultimately destroy them? So it's kind of like a little bit of a romance, I think, and then digging into mysteries of the past. So I just thought that seemed really interesting. And then I have two more books. I have this one, which I've been wanting to get, but what pushed me over the edge is that I'm going to Italy this summer. So I was like, I have to get this book. It's called One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. And I have her book In 5 Years. I haven't read that yet, but I've read another book by her in the past. And so basically this is like going to Italy, finding your soulmate, and just having like a beautiful summer. Like, what could be better? So, yeah, it's about like all the best and the hardest parts of love. And I just thought this cover is gorgeous. And I just want a little taste of Italy before I go there. And then finally, I picked up this book, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. So this is a fantasy book. I think this is a young adult book. I can't remember exactly, but what like drew me to this was that a new book is coming out. And I'm a like Barnes and Noble club member, and they have like an exclusive version, and the cover was so pretty. I was like, what is this book? And I found out it's a sequel to this book. So I thought that I would read this one, and it just says, how far would you go for happily ever after? For as long as she can remember, Evangeline Fox has believed in true love and happy endings, until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding and to heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses, to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So, yeah, not my typical type of book, but I just want to see what all the hype is about, you know? This gets really great reviews, and yeah, so that is my huge book haul. I think this is one of my biggest book hauls that I've had in a while. Now I have to make room for them on my shelf. But yeah, I'm so glad I could hang out with you guys, and it made me feel a little better because if you didn't see the beginning of this, I slipped down the stairs last night and I am in bad shape. So I'm gonna take it easy today, but I just wanted to do this, hang out with you, and then be able to put all these books away. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you are all doing well and haven't fallen down the stairs. Don't wear socks on carpeted stairs, like for real. But yeah, I am going to wrap this up, but I hope you all have a great Friday. I will have my Las Vegas vlog up tomorrow, and yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. If you join me live, and if you watch after the fact, thank you so much as well. And yeah, have a great start to your weekend. Bye.